We don't care. We don't care. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your boy Brie Larson. And literally I'm thinking of quitting Captain Marvel. So let's see what a critical drink has to say about this. Let's react to this real
You
quick.
play Captain Marvel for?
I don't know. I don't know. Does anyone want me to do it again?
No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Man, it must be a tough gig to be one of the dozen or so people that are still hardcore fans of the MCU these days. I mean, you don't need me to tell you that apart from one or two marginal successes like Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Marvel has been a brand in decline for some time now, and the process only seems to be accelerating as we near the end of what's turned out to be a pretty dismal year for superhero movies.
Yeah.
Ant-Man 3 was an unmitigated disaster,
A
losing
king.
hundreds of millions of dollars for the studio, while Secret Invasion, a big budget Disney Plus show featuring what used to be one of the coolest characters in the franchise, was met with resounding indifference. Which brings me not so neatly along to The Marvels, one of the least anticipated MCU movies of the past several years, and the film that's going to round out a disastrous 2023 for Disney. I mean, right from the beginning, it was pretty obvious that this movie didn't have much to work with, handcuffed as it was to a main character that was once touted as the new face of the Avengers, until Marvel realised that she was about as popular with fans as barbecue ribs at a vegan restaurant.
Yo, the fact that because Captain Marvel made $1 billion, they think Brie Larson is the future, man. This is we all know it because of Endgame, bro. If it wasn't for Endgame, no one would give a shit about Captain Marvel. Let's be honest.
Hence the reason she's barely appeared in anything in the past 4 years. It's a bit like clogging up your friend's toilet after a dodgy kebab. There's only so long you can stall them before they demand to know what the hell you're doing in there.
Oh, come on.
Attempts to dilute the problem by crowbarring in two other characters that most people either didn't know or didn't care about only served to highlight how pointless, directionless, and passionless the whole endeavour felt. Then came the delays, the revisions, the reshoots, the rumours of tension and explosive conflicts on set, the disastrously bad test screenings, the hiring of an inexperienced director with a grand total of one mid-budget movie to her name who made baffling statements like, "This movie is going to be totally different from the rest of the MCU because it's really wacky and silly."
Wow.
Or sometimes you'd be in a scene and you'd be like, what the hell does any of this shit mean? No kidding, Nia.
Bro,
I often find myself asking the same thing with pretty much every Marvel project these days. The difference between us is that I'm not supposed to be directing one of these fucking things. But hey, who knows? Maybe the film would turn out to be a big hit at the box office. I mean, shit, man, the first one made over $1 billion, so there's no reason the sequel couldn't equal that. Oh, so the box office projections have come in for the Marvels, and they're not looking good. In fact, that's putting it mildly. If they're correct, then this movie's got about as much chance of turning a profit as a holiday park in Chernobyl. According to Box Office Pro, the Marvels' early box office projections are 72% worse than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, a film which went on to make less than $500 million globally, nowhere near its break-even point. Its opening weekend is expected to generate between 50 and 75 million domestically, less than half of what Captain Marvel did. Pre-sales are down 69% behind Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and 72% behind Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Not exactly good news. And it's not like this was a cheap movie to make either. In fact, the final production budget comes in at just shy of $275 million, making it easily one of the most expensive movies in MCU history. I mean, with CGI this good, what else could you expect?
Oh, man.
Just as a little comparison though, I'd like to point out that The Creator was made on a budget of just $80 million. Either way, when you factor in the costs of marketing, promotion, and distribution, you're looking at close to $800 million just to break even.
Son of a bitch!
Something tells me this movie is not going to make $800 million. I mean, shit, man, they'll probably save a bit of money on the press tour because it's looking increasingly likely that the actors' strike could drag on until the end of the year, but something tells me that's not going to be enough to tip the scales in this case. But drinker, you rapacious rapscallion, I hear you say, Barbie was all about female empowerment just like Captain Marvel, and that film went on to be the biggest hit of the
Barbie's
entire
different,
year.
bro.
Surely the Marvels will ride the girl power wave all the way to the bank just like its predecessor. Well, advocate for the devil, I'd pump the brakes on that kind of enthusiasm if I were you. Regardless of its artistic merits, of which there are few in my opinion, Barbie was a huge hit because it successfully tapped into the elusive female market in a way that Marvel never can, taking the quintessential female toy that almost every woman in the Western world has played with at one time or another and adapting it into a movie told from an unapologetically feminine perspective. It worked because it captured an audience that's been largely starved of content tailor-made for them for almost 10 years now. What studios have tried to do instead is to bend other genres and franchises around them rather than making stuff that's tailor-made for them in the first place. For example, Marvel's core audience is, was, and always will be male. Yeah, I know a few people are going to lose their minds
That's the
because
truth,
I said
bro.
that. And yeah, I know there's
It's
still
the
plenty
truth.
of girls out there who enjoy superhero movies too, but when you get right down to it, the bulk of Marvel's fan base is composed of men. And their
True.
increasingly ham-fisted attempts to pander to a female audience over the past few years hasn't won them the new fans they expected. All it's really done is alienate the ones they already had, because they're no longer giving them what they want. That is why more and more of their movies are failing. That's why nobody gives a shit about their TV shows anymore. That is why the Marvels was doomed before they even shot a single frame. Not just because of the unpopular main characters, not just because of the inexperienced director or the bloated and ridiculous budget, not just because of the general malaise around superhero movies as the genre enters its twilight years, but because they already pushed away the very people who once supported them so fervently. They insisted on making more and more projects that they felt audiences needed instead of listening to what they actually wanted. And to be honest, I've got absolutely no sympathy for them because they brought this on themselves. They sowed the very seeds
don't
of their
care.
own failure, and well, now it's time to reap their rewards. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
As usual, the critical drinker is not wrong. He actually made a very interesting point to the fact that the MCU's audience is mostly men. Now, this is the problem. I keep saying, like, we could play this, just so we can have nice movement happening. Anyways, okay, yeah, that's a wrong place. So what I'm saying is, if you are a company or a studio, you gotta understand your fan base. You gotta look at what is the bigger market. Okay, is it men or women? And in Marvel's case, is actually men. Now I know they're trying to pull in new, viewers and all that, but like you still gotta be loyal to the, to the majority of your viewership, because at the end of the day, they don't want making you the money, right? So in this case, it's men, and then you have this. Look at the Marvels, man. It's all women. Even on the interview, Nick Fury wasn't even part of that. So we know the message, and we don't care. Okay, we don't care. We don't even want to look at it. I know everybody I know that I know personally, they are not seeing Captain Marvel. All right, sorry, I keep saying Captain Marvel. The Marvels, they don't care. Okay, so y'all brought this upon yourself. Like even Loki, I don't really care much about Loki, to be honest. I watched episode 3 yesterday, I guess. It was, I just don't care. I really don't. I like the mystery. Okay, the mystery around this Victor Timely, whatever his name is. I like the mystery, but I still, me caring about the future of it, I don't see any potential, So at this point, I think the MCU needs to reboot. Y'all keep talking about this Barbie movie. Barbie is a different game, bro. Like, bro, every woman knows Barbie, man. Like, you know what I mean? It's like something that is so dear to them that when they were growing up, they wanted to dress like Barbie. So Barbie's iconic. Captain Marvel ain't iconic, bro. As a matter of fact, not many people know who Captain Marvel is. I didn't know who Captain Marvel. I knew she was part of the Avengers. That was it. But I didn't really care much about Captain Marvel. So not many people know much about. She's not like Wonder Woman level, or fame. Just saying. Anyways, if you guys enjoyed my reaction, give it a thumbs up. I'll see you next time. Take it easy. Love the game. Bars. Peace.